friends, this is Risha and welcome to For the Love of Classics. I know it's a tough time for everyone around, and since a lot of us are at home, either working from home or studying from home, it's a great time to sit back and pick up a book. It has been very difficult for me to pick up a book and start reading because of everything that has been going around. There are some books out there which we are very familiar with, which we love to read, which we know the story of, which brings us warmth and happiness. So I think this would be the perfect time to pick one of those books up. So my first suggestion would be Jane Austen. Most of us, if not all, are familiar with her, and we have either read her book or watched a movie based off of her book. So picking up a book by Jane Austen would be a great time because they are just such comfortable books to read. My favorite Jane Austen is Pride and Prejudice and Persuasion. Both of these books are not very long. They are shorter as compared to Mansfield Park and Emma. I feel like everybody reads Pride and Prejudice and Emma, but nobody gives any importance to Persuasion, which is, by the way, my favorite. And this, I think, is the last book which Jane Austen wrote, so it is one of her mature works. Anne Elliot is the protagonist of the story, and she is 27 years old when the story begins. And the story is about second chances. If you're looking for a happy book, pick up either Pride and Prejudice or Persuasion just to cheer you up a little bit. The next author which I would like to suggest is Elizabeth Gaskell. She is such a comfort to read. I love her books North and South and Wives and Daughters. If you haven't read any of these two, then pick North and South because that is the shorter one. But if you have already read North and South, I would suggest picking up Wives and Daughters. This is a long book, almost 600 pages long, but it is such a sweet story. It is a slow-paced book, but it has such warmth and tenderness and love in it. The story is about Molly Gibson, who is a beautiful young lady. Molly Gibson's father is a local doctor and her mother has passed away, and the story takes a turn when her father decides to remarry. It is such a comfortable book to dive into. The story is very sweet and it shows how communities work together, and I think it is a great book to pick up. Another book which I would like to recommend is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. This was not one of my favorite books when I read it, but looking back, I feel like it is a very warm and cozy book. So the story is about a 17-year-old girl, Cassandra, and she lives in a castle with her family. This is her diary. She writes everything that happens. And I feel like this would be a fun book to read to take your mind off things. Another author I would recommend is Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy writes in such a peaceful and calm manner, and I think his books are perfect to read now. I would like to suggest two books by Thomas Hardy. The first one would be Far from the Madding Crowd, which is an amazing book. Everything about that book is just perfect. And the second book which I would like to recommend is The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy. Both of these books are set in rural England. Thomas Hardy's writing in general just lifts you up and takes you to another place. So I feel like any book by Thomas Hardy would be a great pick right now. So those were some of the books I thought would be comforting, and I decided to share them with you. If you have any suggestions for me, I would love to have some. I was thinking of reading The Cranford Chronicles by Elizabeth Gaskell because I haven't read it yet, and since I love North and South and Wives and Daughters, I feel like I'm going to like this one as well. I hope this helps you in reading more during the next couple of weeks. Stay home, stay safe, and wash your hands. Bye.